Greetings, everybody. I'm Robert Kennedy. I'll be your history instructor for this session. This is an orientation video designed to help you understand the expectations so you can successfully complete the course. So the first thing you want to do is to go through the Start Here folder. There you'll find the syllabus. This is where you found the orientation video and all of that, right? And then you'll take the exam. The exam will be located here once you access the course as well. Once you've successfully completed the orientation exam, well, let me back up a bit. Definitely use, let's bring this over here. While you are watching this orientation video, please use these questions here to take notes. This is the test bank for the orientation exam. So there will be no surprises on the orientation exam. If you have a response to each of these questions, you will pass the orientation exam. Make sure your responses are thorough. Please, no one-word responses. This is a college course, so you want to clearly explain yourself, especially in an online situation. I need to be sure that you understand the expectations, so make it clear that you understand the expectations. So again, take notes using these questions here. Okay, so once you are done taking the orientation exam, let me know using Pronto. So when you go to Pronto, let me bring up another course right here because Pronto is not available in this course right now since it hasn't started. Sorry about that. Okay, so to direct message me, go to the plus sign, direct message, and then type in my name. My name again is Robert Kennedy. If you want to isolate, sometimes there might be more than one Robert Kennedy. In this case, there isn't. But if you ever want to isolate your the scope of your search, if you go to connections, that will only search for people that are within your connections, which means that it won't give you other Robert Kennedys at South Texas College. But I'm the only one, so that doesn't really matter. So that's where you will let me know that you've completed the orientation exam. Okay, so once you've done that, then comps be time to move on to Comp 1, and the pretest will be made available to you. Let me explain something about the pretest first and foremost. One, you cannot use notes, books, other electronic equipment during the time of the pretest. Any use of notes or other resources will result in the student earning a failing grade for the session with no opportunity to drop or withdraw from the course. So again, yeah, big deal. Do not use notes for the pretest. Post-test will be different. I'll explain that in a little bit. The other thing about the pretest is it doesn't count against your grade, so don't worry about how you do on the pretest. In fact, what I would suggest doing is just take note of the questions. You have 60 minutes if you want to write down some of the questions. They might come up again during the post-test. So just basically, yeah, again, don't worry about how you do on the pretest. There's really no expectation that anyone is going to demonstrate competency on these pretests without having access to the assigned content ahead of time. And you won't have access to the assigned content until you have completed the pretest. Once you've completed the pretest, like the orientation exam, let me know on Pronto that you've completed the pretest so I can grade it as quickly as possible. Again, the grade doesn't count towards your total grade. But once that happens, then Chapter 15 and 17 will be made available to you. So once that happens, let's go ahead and open up the pretest or the assigned content. For the post-test, and these chapters are designed to help you prepare for the post-tests. So here's the assigned content right here. Always the first link is going to be text, and then there'll be videos there to accompany the text, right? What I highly suggest you do is you can use handwritten notes during the post-test. You can use all the handwritten notes you want for the post-test. Since that's the case, what I highly suggest doing is taking the 5 minutes it would take to physically handwrite these key terms and to physically write with a pen or pencil the short answer questions. Might take you all of 5 minutes to do that. Make sure you put space in between the key terms and the questions. One, again, you could use these notes during the post test, but two, taking the time to handwrite these key terms and the short answer questions will begin to trigger to your mind, okay, this is what's coming up, rather than going to the text for information that you're probably not very familiar with and it all just kind of washing over you and you're not really ingesting any of the material. This will again help you ingest the material. So please do that, right? So for this question right here in the orientation, this is what I'm explaining right here. There are 3 steps one should take to successfully prepare and learn the material for the short answer questions. So this is what's referred to short answer questions. Again, the first step is to physically handwrite it. The second step is to go through the material, read it, and as you come across information that helps you respond to any of the key terms and or short answer questions, to physically write those questions, to physically take notes accordingly. So if you come across information that lets you know what happened during the presidential reconstruction in the text or any of the videos, write that down, right? In what ways did Reconstruction recreate slavery? Write that down as you come across this information. Moving on, right, to chapter 17 is basically the same thing. You want to do that. The third step, while I'm here, is to, once you're done taking all of your notes for the short answer questions, move on to something else. So if you're in chapter 15, move on to chapter 17. Once you're done with whatever you've moved on to, whether it's for this course or another course, come back to it a couple of days later and then see if you could further develop your notes once the information is kind of settled into your mind, right? Now, there's no need to memorize anything in this course since you use your handwritten notes, but it is a timed exam. And so if you are familiar with the information enough to where you're not 100% relying on your notes, the post-test will be much more manageable. Again, you don't need to memorize anything. The expectation is just for you to become familiar with the basic concepts of U.S. history. Okay, moving on here. So a couple of other things. Writing guidelines. I can't emphasize this enough. The writing guidelines are incredibly important for this course. So make sure you understand the writing guidelines. Basically, what I'm looking for in your response is what's referred to as evidence of learning, right? And how you demonstrate evidence of learning is that you making sure that you're being as thorough as possible by providing at least a 1 to 3 paragraph response per question. Those are guidelines. Sometimes it'll be less, sometimes it'll be more, but generally speaking, it's going to be at least 5 to 6 sentences each response. And to ensure that you are writing enough, you want to be as specific as possible. So even though the question might not be asking you to refer to dates, when you are going across the information, do refer to dates. So if you're talking about presidential reconstruction, for example, you might mention that it was necessary for the former Confederate states to ratify the 13th Amendment to be brought back into the Union. The 13th Amendment, and then to explain what the 13th Amendment was the amendment that abolished slavery, and it was ratified in 1865, right? So that is referring to dates. Geography. So again, for the former states of the Confederacy, which were located in the southern United States, might be a good idea to include geography in any kind of response. Specific individuals. So again, if you're talking about presidential reconstruction, you do want to refer to Abraham Lincoln. And then also you might want to refer to Andrew Johnson and his plan. He is the next president after Abraham Lincoln is assassinated, right? So always try to be as specific as possible. Avoid generalizations. So don't use words like Native American or the Indians, not because it's PC or whatever the case may be, but there are lots of different Native American nations. So who are you referring to? Are you referring to the Sioux, the Lakota, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, right? If you're referring to Europeans, which Europeans are you referring to? Are you referring to the English, Spanish, right? You get the idea. Be specific as possible. The other thing I just want to bring to your attention real quick, and then this will be it, is the suggested schedule, right? So there are no due dates in this course, but it is highly suggested that you adhere to the competency suggested schedule. So you must earn 80% or higher on each post-test to successfully complete this course. So try to have that done by the due dates that are indicated here. Again, they're suggested due dates to keep you on pace to complete the course by December 6th. Right. The course ends officially December 3rd, but I'm going to give you all a 3-day extension to ensure that you get through the course successfully. So let's see, anything else that needs to be gone over? Nope, that's about it. So go ahead and take the orientation exam, and do let me know if you have any questions or need clarification about anything that you found unclear, or that you feel that wasn't really covered in the orientation exam, or you just need further clarification on that. Anyway, take care, and I'll be hearing from you soon.